It's time for Coach's Corner on KCCR and online at kccr.com. Coach's Corner is brought to you by Todd's Electric, Jane's Pharmacy, Lamb Motors, Avera, Oahe Federal Credit Union, and Edward Jones Financial. Coach's Corner is also brought to you by Graham Tire, Kruger Contracting, CHS River Plains, Gales Gas, Bank West, and Capital City Ford, Lincoln, and Toyota. From the KCCR studios in Pierre, KCCR award-winning sports director John Winkler.
And a good evening as we welcome you here inside the KCCR studios on this Wednesday evening on November 1st. It is another edition of Coach's Corner, and tonight we will talk with the head coach of the Pierre Governors and Steve Steele, our weekly conversation with Coach Steele. Also have a conversation with Coach Brielle Boley of the Soybees Chargers and Coach TJ Dragasa of the Stanley County Lady Buffaloes, as those volleyball teams will be in the SODAC 16 qualifying games tomorrow night. We'll also finish out the program talking with Coach Kent Huckins of the Pierre swim team. Looking forward to talking with him as they have their first home meet of the 2023-24 season coming up this weekend, as we'll have a conversation with him here to close out the show. We'll have all those coaches on the way. We'll start with Coach Steve Steele. That's coming up next. You're listening to Coach's Corner here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com.
Building a home. It's the biggest investment most of us make in a lifetime. Not to mention, it's a decision that, well, you pretty much live with day and night. The quality of the workmanship stares back at you like a reflection. It also affects the value of your investment. Choosing the right contractor is critical. Kruger Contracting is that contractor. Call 222-2523. Quality workmanship and materials completed on time. Kruger Contracting. In a word, quality. Call 222-2523.
At Shane's Pharmacy, your healthcare is important, and Shane wants to be the pharmacist to take care of you. Shane's Pharmacy will make sure your prescriptions are filled in a timely manner, they will answer your questions, and they will even deliver to your home or office. Call 223-9200. Shane's Pharmacy, the pharmacy you know and trust. The number again is 223-9200. Shane's Pharmacy in Fort Pierre, proud to support high school athletics.
Score big on your next vehicle purchase with Lamb Motor Company in Oneida and Gettysburg, Lamb Chevrolet and Implement in Oneida, and Lamb Auto Sales in Pierre. Check out their large selection of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs at any one of their locations, or go online to lambmotor.com. That's LAMBMOTOR.com. Or give them a call today at 800-952-2222. Lamb Motor Company of Oneida and Gettysburg, Lamb Chevrolet and Implement in Oneida, and Lamb Auto Sales in Pierre.
Hey, I'm just here so I don't get fined, so y'all can sit here and ask me all the questions y'all want to. I'm going to answer with the same answer, so y'all can shoot if y'all please.
This is Coach's Corner on your home for the Pierre Governors, KCCR, and online at kccrradio.com.
Welcome back to Coach's Corner here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com. Joining me is Coach Steve Steele here of the Pierre Governors, getting set for the 11 AA semifinal against the Watertown Arrows. And Coach, let's go back to last week against Spearfish, up 49-0 at halftime. I know we talked about it in the post-game show as well, but now here days later and getting ready for the 11 AA semifinal. But what was the most impressive thing of what you guys did in the first round?
Yeah, I just think it was a very complete half of football, from the varsity guys. I think offense went out and was dang near perfect. Special teams added value, had a big return to start the game, had another good punt return later. Defense went out and got a couple turnovers and shut them out. So, I think all around it was a great half, and then that let us rest everybody in the second half. So, very, very pleased with last week's effort and need another one.
How important is it to get that rest in that second half? And guys to get in, the next year's guys, the next couple of years' guys that will be coming in to play in that second half, how important was it to get in a playoff atmosphere and play, and also in the snow too, which is a lot of fun?
Yeah, it was fun for those guys. It always is. But, any rep you can steal in a game, especially in a varsity game and a playoff game, is something that it can't be replaced in practice. You can practice a whole bunch of times, but it's just not the same as when the lights are on you. And if it's a playoff game against someone in a different jersey, it's going to be mean more and it's going to be more pressure-filled. So those are situations which are great for the coaches to be able to see how those kids respond in different deals and, at the same point to allow those kids the opportunity to show us what they can do.
You guys take on Watertown here this week. You played them on homecoming and had a torrential downpour at one point in that game. But before we start talking about that matchup and getting ready for this matchup, what did you see from Watertown this past Thursday against Aberdeen Central with their 42-17 win?
Yeah, their offensive and defensive lines really handled Aberdeen very well. I think defensively they handled them pretty much the entire game, and offensively, I think there's a little bit of a slow start where both defenses were really playing well, and then they kind of used some special teams and a defensive touchdown to kind of swing it in their favor, and their offensive line just continued to carry them through the rest of that game.
And now going back to that game against Watertown, obviously the rain didn't really cause much of a factor at all. Looking like a better night on Friday. Is there anything that changes game plan wise? Not so much because you added more stuff, but just from game 1 to game 2, do you change a whole lot of what you want to do against Watertown?
I think it's one of those things where you've got to have a bunch of stuff ready. I think there's a lot more contingencies at this point in the season. But I think your plan, you're still kind of thinking they're going to stay in their base stuff, so you got to come out with your base stuff in a sense and kind of see what happens. And then you've got to be able to have plan B, plan C, plan D that you can go to really quick because, again, it's playoff time and you can't afford to waste drives. So, if you get something you're not expecting, then you've got to be prepared to give something they're not expecting right back.
Well, and now the other thing, too, with that is that, you've been able to play almost everybody one way and have 22 different starters, 11 on offense, 11 on defense. Now you get in the playoffs, and is there more of a chance that we see guys play both ways if necessary, both, offensive line, the linebacker, the defensive line, then the linebacker side, receiver-wise? There's a lot more chances of maybe guys having to play both ways over this week and hopefully in the next week too.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no holding back now. It doesn't matter who they are. If we need them on the other side of the ball, they're going to go play the other side of the ball. At this point in the season, it's you put your best 11 out there, and whoever those best 11 are going to go out there. It doesn't matter if they're also the best 11 on the other side of the ball right now. Our philosophy with that's always been to try and stay healthy and build depth. And right now it's about putting your best 11 out there and finding a way to win one game. So that's what we're going to do.
And I guess we should also mention too, these guys that may be playing both ways, maybe not have taken a snap or maybe 1 or 2 snaps all season in a game, but it's not like they haven't had any kind of reps in practice other than this week. They've been kind of doing this all season long. It's just getting into now this week when they might actually be on the field for the first. You might see them on the field for the first time.
Yeah, and that's pretty common. Again, all these guys, it's not like they've only practiced that side of the ball for a day and a half or 3 days or 4 days or a week. They've been getting reps there all season. In different capacities, obviously, but the reps have really increased here in the last few weeks. Now is the time where it's time to go and win a football game, and that everyone's on the same page of that, and everyone just wants to give us the best opportunity to win.
It's got to be nice, too, when you look into the depth chart and you're saying, okay, this guy's going to start, these guys are going to start. Say, oh, by the way, we haven't used him here, but if we need to, we're going to put this guy, Jet Zabel over on the defensive side of the ball. Whatever it might be, there's a lot of guys that can play both ways, but because of what the Governors have been able to do over the last couple of years, and especially this year, you haven't had to do that and have been able to save guys a lot of hits and a lot of plays throughout the course of the season.
Yeah, and it really allows us to be very flexible with what we're doing both sides of the ball. It gives us a lot more options, I think, for different packages that we can do offensively and defensively, being able to add people in that haven't been in. We can do a little bit of different things and give teams a little different look. Offensively, too, we can use those same guys that are playing D to give different looks to the opposing defense too. So, more than anything, I think obviously we want to put our best 11 out, but it allows us to be a little bit different than we have been during the season too.
And the Governors take on the Watertown Arrows on Friday, 6 o'clock kickoff. We'll be on the air at 5:30 on KCCR and on YouTube at KCCR Sports. As we're joined here with Coach Steve Steele, let's talk a little bit college football. The Michigan Wolverines are in the college football playoff right now to the first set, and you probably have a little bit of mixed emotions with Ohio State being at number 1 because you're not an Ohio State fan. You're like a Keno's fan who is at Ohio State. But so you probably feel a little bit like, hey, we got a guy from Pierre that's on the number 1 team in the nation right now, but also it's Ohio State, and you have a little bit of hate still for him.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit different emotions, I guess, than usual. But he knows that we've got his back. And I've told him when he was getting out there that I can stomach 4 years of cheering for the Ohio State Buckeyes if I need to, because in my mind I'm always just cheering for him. And there's more ties to Ohio State from us than there are to Michigan right now. So, in all, if it's a Michigan-Ohio State national championship, I'll be happy either way. So,
yeah, that's true.
That part is good, but no, it's really cool seeing Lincoln on TV and kind of getting to just hear how he's doing, and you never know, there might be a shot he gets to see the field a little bit here this year. So there's really neat representation of our program in small town Pierre, South Dakota on a large scale.
Do you like the 4 teams that are in the college football playoff right now? Obviously, a lot can change over the next couple of weeks, but do you agree with the top 4?
I think it's irrelevant at this point, honestly, because Michigan and Ohio State play each other. I think what you get from that is that if Ohio State loses to Michigan, it doesn't knock them out. With them being number 1 right now, that probably bumps them to 4. Michigan being 3, that probably does knock them out. I think that's about all you can really take from it, because there's so many more games that have to be played. Georgia's going to have to play a couple of really big games coming up. And Florida State's going to have probably, honestly, the easiest path of everybody else, or of the top 5. Washington will still have a couple games too. So realistically speaking, that's the only real bit I take from it, is that they like Ohio State's resume, that if they go 11-1 and lose to Michigan, they're probably in. If Michigan goes 11-1, they're probably out.
All right, real quick, a couple of, we're going to go full circle and get back to high school football, but let's swing to the Detroit Red Wings and the Detroit Lions, because it's much more fun to talk about them than other years. So I'd like to ask you about them every Wednesday now. The Red Wings picked up they were down 2-0 on the Islanders, came back, took the lead. They lost the lead, but they end up winning in overtime. Lions are now 6-2. For the first time in probably a long, long time, that Steve Steele feels pretty good about all of his teams right now.
Yeah, the Red Wings, again, and it's one of those things where their division is pretty loaded right now, and but I think they're showing that they're in it, and that's kind of what we were hoping, is that they'd be in the race whether or not they make it or not. But they look good. They look dramatically better. Their offense they got a lot of speed. Their offense is really moving really well right now, and we'll just kind of see. I think we'll have the big curiosity I have is goalie. We'll see if Husso can keep them in it, and their tandem of 1Bs can keep anything out. So we'll see, I guess. But the Lions, man, it's a fun year to be a Lions fan. Crazy to say that right now, but realistically speaking, they things are setting up pretty well for them to have a shot to make some noise right now. Just with the schedule it being what it is, and they're 6-2 going into the bye. This could be fun.
I don't think there's many times the Lions over the last probably 20 to 30 years that they could say that they won a game that forced a quarterback to ask for a trade and Rodgers to go to New York, and then you win a game and the next day that they fired their coach and GM. That the Lions probably haven't been – there's a lot more factors into it, but the Lions were the last team to play both those things. It probably have to go back a long ways to have that type of success over a couple of weeks or so, to have a quarterback want to be traded and then a GM and coach be fired.
Yeah, really. In a lot of ways, there's a lot of things that this Lions season you could describe in the history of my life on 0 hands, fingers, 0 times it's had it's happened. So it's just been really neat. There's a long time in my memory they never had a Monday Night Football game. And they've already been on Monday night. I've gotten to watch more Lions games this year because they're actually on national TV, because they're not terrible, than I've gotten to watch in a long time, probably since living in Michigan, where they are your local broadcast. So it's been a neat year all the way around, and I love the fact that they've done it with injuries. So it's not that David Montgomery goes down and the season's out the window, or Amon-Ra St. Brown doesn't play a game and they lose it. They've consistently found ways to win regardless of who's suiting up that day.
All right, let's go all the way back here to high school football, because you got you on a high right now, and you want to be on a high after Friday night, with the idea of still getting ready for a state championship. Against this Watertown Arrow team, how do you make sure you guys get the win? What's going to be the biggest reason for that W?
It's going to be the line of scrimmage. Again, I thought that was the main reason they beat Aberdeen, was that they handled them up front, and we've got to be the team that does the handling. If we can do that, we'll be playing inside next week. Here's hopefully our guys can find a way to handle them up front, and everyone behind can keep making the plays.
Well, Coach, I appreciate the time. We'll talk to you in the pregame show, and good luck on Friday.
Thanks, John.
That is head coach Steve Steele, the Pierre Governors, back with more Coach's Corner after this here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com. Radio.
Look, it's no secret that owning a vehicle can cause a lot of stress, and they get a lot of wear and tear on them through every season. Graham Tire wants you to know that you can trust them with any problem that you have with your vehicle. They have fully trained ASE certified mechanics on staff, ready to handle it for you. From brakes and bearings to alignments and front ends. Let their experience work for you. Over 50 years combined means you can count on them. So if it's time for a transmission flush or even a simple oil change, the only name you need to know is Graham Tire, 421 West Sioux Avenue in Pierre.
This fall, take some time to think about your future. While the leaves make their way down to earth and the last sunset of summer leaves us with an autumn chill, it's time to grab the nearest foam finger and break out the face paint. Rush the stands with First Dakota National Bank and forget how to blink. Fall sports are back with jaw-dropping plays, an electric atmosphere, and epic scores. Make some noise with First Dakota National Bank. Open a new account online today at firstdakotanationalbank.com. Member FDIC.
Most of us already know that Gales Gas of Pierre is the place to call for propane. They offer an automatic fill plan so you never have to worry about running out of propane. They accept debit and credit payments or a budget payment plan to spread out the cost throughout the year so you never have surprises when you get your bill. For delivery, convenience, and great customer service, call Gales Gas at 224-5518. That's Gales Gas at 224-5518.
That's a clown question, bro.
You're listening to Coach's Corner on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com.
Back here on Coach's Corner on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com. Joining me is Coach Bria Boley here of the Slibby's Chargers as they picked up a win Monday night against Potter County and another win over the Battlers. 4-0, the Chargers win against their rivals this year. And Coach, let's first talk about this matchup before we start talking about Harriet-Selby area coming up on Thursday. That you play Potter County 4 times, and to beat a team 4 times, it's a lot easier said than done because there's a lot that they can look at and say we need to be better here, here, and here, and you guys don't have that per se because of the 3 wins. But boy, this team was really dominant again against a Potter County team.
Absolutely. We definitely, I think both sides knew what to expect, and I was really proud of how our team just kind of mentally, to start out playing a team that you've played 3 times already. I felt like our kids were really locked in and ready to play their best game.
Well, and then the mental toughness or the confidence to come back in that third set. You guys are down by 5 points, 24-19, and then you rattle off 7 in a row to win 26-24. I mean, all they need to do is score 1 point in the next 5 points or so, or the next 5 points, and you guys were able to overcome that because it's pretty easy to say, well, it's 24-19, and we'll see what happens, but we're probably going to go to a 4th set. You guys didn't let that happen last night. There's got to be a lot of confidence, especially to end the game like that, end a match like that, to get the win.
Absolutely. I think that gave our kids a lot of confidence, and that is something all season long, No lead is safe against us because our girls, they just don't quit. They don't give up, and they didn't want to go to a 4th, and they wanted to make sure we took care of it in 3. And so mentally, and just what a confidence booster. We had a couple kids, really only our 2 seniors and a junior have had any playoff experience, and so this was a good confidence booster for them going into the postseason.
Yeah, and then because you go on Thursday against Harriet-Selby area, and that's going to be a really tough battle. But that first win, once you get that first win, then things feel like anything can happen after that. But as you mentioned too, just getting the confidence and getting these girls an opportunity to play in the playoffs before facing a Harriet-Selby area team on Thursday, that's a lot that can be taken from just getting some experience.
Absolutely, and just getting that court time and knowing that they can perform at a high level still, even in the playoffs, and definitely good for us, good confidence booster going into a tough game here on Thursday against Harriet-Selby.
Well, you've played them twice so far, Harriet-Selby area, and that game is coming up on Thursday, 7 o'clock first serve from Selby School, and DT Meyer will have the call on Country 95.3 and on YouTube at Country 95.3 Sports. You played them twice, lost to them twice. The first one was the very first game of the entire season in that first weekend in that Yellowstone Trail Conference tournament, the YTC tournament in Gettysburg, and then you played them a couple weeks ago back on October 31st at Harriet and lost 3-0, but what do you take from, especially that last game? What can you take away from that last game to bring yourselves and close the gap against Harriet Selby area and then get past them in that Thursday game?
Yeah, they're an extremely defensively tough team. They don't let a lot of balls drop, so we're just going to have to find the open spots and work here to score. Between injuries and illness, we have yet to play them with our full squad. We've had somebody out every game, so we're looking forward to seeing where we match up with them on our full lineup and just trying to contain their middles and find the open spot on the floor defensively. They have a very talented libero. They have a big block. So just offensively, we're going to have to get something rolling right from the get-go.
Well, and then you look at the scores from that October 17th game. You scored 17, 20, and 18. So it's not the 3-0 win for Harriet Selby area, but just looking at scores, that shows that Sully Buttes is right there with the Wolverines. And this isn't we got to have a huge gap to close. This is not that type of a game, a huge gap that between these two teams. Sully Buttes is right there with Harriet Selby area.
Absolutely. We anticipate it to be a close game and, just doing the little things here, taking care of things on the passing end and giving our setter and our hitters the best chance possible to score. And also just last game, we struggled serving a little bit with serving accuracy and consistency, so we're looking to improve that, and hopefully that will make up for a few points as well.
We're talking with Coach Brielle Boley here of the Sully Buttes Chargers, who are into the semifinals of the Region 6B tournament. If they win, they are in the SODAC 16. The SODAC 16 qualifying matches will take place on Thursday, and the Chargers are one of those teams to be playing on Thursday. You mentioned how good of a defensive team that Harriet Selby is. So you mentioned about picking your spots, but is it a team that you got to make sure that you're not getting down yourself in a long rally, and especially if you don't get that point? Is this a team that likes to have long rallies? And if they are, how do you make sure that these girls, because long rallies can bring a lot of momentum, how do you make sure if that point doesn't go your way that it doesn't ruin the momentum that the Sully Buttes Chargers might have?
Sure, yeah. They are a team that, they're scrappy and they're going to dig a lot up, so we expect the rally to go on. And just this group of kids that we have on the floor, they're really good about, thinking about the next ball. And just even though the momentum swung their way, they know we're just one kill, one great dig, one ace away from getting a momentum swing. And I think just mentally that this season, playing the tough teams that we have played, and we've played some long rallies and we've come from behind, I think that has prepared us to hopefully match up here and know that mentally we're just one swing away from having a momentum shift.
And you also mentioned, too, you got two seniors in Stevie Whitler and Trishelle White. A lot of teams, having two seniors, it's maybe in Class B, okay, there's a little bit, sometimes they don't have very many seniors, but to be able to have this team and to have the opportunity here for the Chargers and be a 3 seed in your region, how much that says about what these two seniors have been able to do to lead this team, this young team, and what these young girls have been able to do to see the bright future that Sully Buttes Charger volleyball has.
Yeah, absolutely. We're really fortunate to have Stevie and Trishelle kind of lead us this season, both emotionally and on the floor. They're just really great about, like I said, we didn't have a lot of kids that played a lot of varsity, losing 8 or 9 seniors last year. And so we just, they really helped them kind of come into their role. And it was great to see last night, a few of those underclassmen step up and try to fill a spot in a big time for us. So just can't say enough about their leadership, both on and off the court, and just what they've done for our team this year.
Again, talking with Coach Brielle Boley here, the Sully Buttes Chargers. They take on Harriet Selby area coming up on Thursday, as DT will have coverage with a 7 o'clock first serve from Selby. So a couple questions here. How important is a good start against Harriet Selby area? Obviously, if you don't win that first set, doesn't mean that you're not going to get a win, but how important is it to try and get out ahead of Harriet Selby area to maybe force them to play from behind, maybe put the nerves on them, but just to give the confidence to the girls, how important is a good start on Thursday?
Yeah, it's crucial to have a good start here, at least to be close with them and be ready to play and have our heads in the game right away. Always like to win that first set and get a little breathing room for the rest of the time, and try to put the pressure on them as the higher seed to try to beat us in 4 then.
So our final question then is what's going to be what's the biggest key for the Sully Buttes Chargers to get a win on Thursday against Harriet Selby area?
I think biggest key is going to have to be offensive, how well our offense is running, being able to find open spots to score on the floor, and that starts with our passing, just being able to get the ball right to the setter so that she can set it up and give the hitters the best opportunity that they can.
Well, Coach, hey, I appreciate the time. It was good talking to you, and congrats on the win last night. Good luck again, on Monday night, and good luck with the game here on Thursday against Harriet Selby-Area. And again, you can hear that game on Country 95.3 and on YouTube at Country 95.3 Sports. D2 of the call. But again, congrats on the win on Monday, and good luck coming up on Thursday.
Yep, thank you.
That is head coach Brielle Boley of the Solebu's Chargers. We'll return with more Coaches Corner after this here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com. kccrradio.com.
Hey you. Are you at a job that is fulfilling, has good benefits to support you or a family today, and retirement goes down the road? If you just said no, listen up. CHS River Plains is hiring operations personnel, drivers, and custom applicators at several locations. These come with a knockout affordable benefit package for you and the whole family. Apply to a job with CHS River Plains and up your benefits straight up. To apply, visit us online at chsriverplains.com or stop in at one of our locations. CHS is an equal opportunity employer.
As community bankers, BankWest employees are deeply committed to supporting local causes, growing the local economy, and creating local opportunities. At a time when you can bank anywhere, we hope you choose BankWest. We'll be your financial partner for the long haul, helping you and your community achieve financial success. BankWest. Convenient, connected, committed. Member FDIC.
No one likes to have electrical problems, but when they happen, call Todd's Electric at 223-2518. With over 30 years of experience, Todd's Electric can handle any type of electrical problem, whether it's residential, commercial, or agriculture. Their knowledgeable staff knows and understands the importance of your home, business, or ag facility and are prepared to help. That number again is 223-2518. Todd's Electric Service, serving the Pierre-Fort Pierre area. Todd's Electric Service, the line to power.
Let me talk to you. You're listening to Coach's Corner on Central South Dakota's sports leader, KCCR.
Yeah. Back here on Coach's Corner on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com. Joining me is Coach TJ Dragicevic of the Stanley County Lady Buffaloes, who picked up a 3-set win on Tuesday over the Shining Eagle Butte Braves. And Coach, it's good to talk to you again. Congrats on that win last night and that 3-set win over Shining Eagle Butte. What was the most impressive thing for the Stanley County Buffalo team going into Thursday now?
I think that our serving game was 100% on point. I think we only missed a couple serves, and finally we were able to master the serving game a little bit, so I'm super proud of them for really focusing on getting the ball over and in, because we struggled kind of all year with kind of relaxing at the serving line and getting a good serve. So they did really well at serving, and I think that our passes were really well. Our serve receive is pretty good, so defensively we did well. So super proud of them and excited for Thursday.
And that's, just the serves alone of being able to get that in and get those over the net and, keep them in play is a huge factor against Mobridge Pollock and any team, just for the fact that you make them at least play the ball at least once in a serve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we I don't know why. We struggled kind of all year with just relaxing at the service line. I think that they get a little antsy and get excited back there. So last night it seemed like they took a breath and were able to calm some nerves and just do what they always do and do what they're confident in. But, yeah, for Thursday, it's definitely going to be a key factor on getting the W is having good serves over and in.
So you take on Mobridge Pollock. You played them early on, September 9th, I believe it was, in the Mobridge Pollock tournament. What did you see from them there? Obviously that's almost 2 months ago now, but what did you see from that team from Mobridge Pollock in that first time you played them?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say because it was so early on, and I think we are overall kind of a different team now. I know Briley Casca, one of our main outside hitters, she was gone that weekend for that tournament, so we were down a player kind of too. So I think as long as we play our A game, I think it'll be a really good competition for us to, peak at the end of the season and hopefully make it to the Sweet 16 round. So Mobridge is a tough team, so as long as we show up and play our game, it'll be interesting to see how it comes out.
And talking with Coach TJ Dragoset of the Stanley County Lady Buffaloes, they take on Mobridge Pollock on Thursday at Mobridge Pollock, and that'll be a 7 o'clock first serve, and the winner will go to the SODAC 16. Now, they didn't play on Tuesday. According to the website, they won 3-0 against Crow Creek, and they're 25-0 scores in all three of them. So that would mean that they have not played since October 20th. And without... just kind of looking at that, seeing that they hadn't played since October 20th, what would that do for a volleyball team, not being able to play for almost 2 weeks at that point, almost 3 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, it can either work really well for a team or kind of set them back a little bit. Having a couple-week stretch of only practices is kind of tough when you're not getting any game-like play. But 2 weeks is a long time to go without a game. I think that will hopefully work in our advantage that they haven't been actively playing for the past couple weeks. So, I'm not sure. I hope it works in our favor. So,
well, and obviously, I like to ask the question of how important is a good start, and every time, everybody says, you want to have a good start, but maybe in this sense, a good start because they haven't played so long. How important is that one to kind of get them back on their heels because they might show some rust right away?
For sure, I know last year we had 10 practices it's like a week and a half, I think, of straight practices, and the practices that week and a half really drug out. You have to switch new drills and keep them active and keep them motivated during practice so that come region time they're still antsy or still wanting to play. So I hope we can catch Mobridge on their heels and get a win out of it.
Well, 18-8 are the Stanley County Lady Buffaloes here this year, and with the win against Mobridge Pollock, you will for sure have a record of 10 games over 500, and at the very worst, you're going to be 9 games over 500. I know we talked a little bit about last week on Coach's Corner, but this is one of the best seasons that Stanley County has had in quite some time, record-wise, and an opportunity to make this even one of the better season and continue to add to how good this season has been for Stanley County. It's got to be a joy to watch this program continue to build over the last couple of years.
For sure. I just got the chills with you just saying all of our accomplishments. They have been such a great group of girls to coach, and they're coachable girls, which makes my life so much easier. They're coming to practice every day willing to learn and wanting to learn. So having a successful season really shows what the Stanley County program, the school in general, has to offer. And we kind of get pushed to the back burner sometimes, but I love showing the community and surrounding areas what the small school has. So, I'm just super proud of them and super excited to see what the future has in store for the program.
So now here, Coach's Corner obviously airing at 5:30, but you and I get a chance to talk in the Wednesday morning. So before practice happens for your game on Thursday here on Wednesday, you get one practice to get prepared and get ready for Mobridge Pollock. What are you wanting to do today? What do you want to accomplish to be prepared for Mobridge Pollock on Thursday?
I think defensively we're going to have to kind of step up our A game on learning how to read hits. Mobridge is a actively hitting team. They like to swing and swing hard at us. So we're going to be working on some defense and learning how to, dig a ball that's hit hard at you. So that's a plan that what we had for Cheyenne Eagle Butte.
Before we get into that final question here, too, I want to ask you personally, too, an opportunity to be in the SODAC 16 for Stanley County and for you as the head coach. What would that mean for Stanley County and for Coach Dragoset to get to the SODAC 16 next week, Tuesday?
Oh, my gosh, I would be thrilled. I don't even know how I'd handle myself, but I think I want it for them. I think the past couple of years they get close. They've been a good team, but this year we have such an excellent group of girls, and I want it for them to prove to themselves what they are capable of and what they can do, and how much hard work can show success. So I really want to prove it to them what they're able to do.
So now the final question is, how do you make that happen? What's going to be the biggest key here for Stanley County to get the win on Thursday against Mobridge Pollock and advance the SODAC 16?
I think the answer to that question is confidence. I think we have to come in being really confident with the moves we make and being confident that we can get the win. Like I said, Mobridge is a good team. So as long as we're confident and don't get beat up with a mistake or don't get down on ourselves, I think that we'll find success in this next game.
Well, Coach, I appreciate the time as always. Good talking to you. Good luck on on Thursday, and hopefully you're playing on Tuesday next week. But good luck against Mobridge Pollock coming up tomorrow night.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate it.
That is head coach TJ Dragosset of the Stanley County Lady Buffaloes. More Coach's Corner after this here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com.
Capital City Ford Lincoln Toyota is serving the central South Dakota community and beyond with a great selection of used vehicles. Local trades and program vehicles are available. New Toyotas and new Fords are arriving and selling before they even hit the lot. So don't wait. Stop in and find out what's coming. If you've been thinking about ordering a new Ford, stop in and sit down with one of our sales specialists today. Capital City Ford Lincoln Toyota at 518 East Sioux Avenue in Pierre. Call 605-224-7378 and visit CapitalCityFordToyota.com.
Helping people. Have you ever wondered what the benefits are of becoming a Owyhee Federal Credit Union member? At Owyhee Federal Credit Union, we reinvest profits in you. We do this in the form of lower interest rates, higher dividends, and low to no fees. So come check us out or come in at 221 East Pleasant Drive in Pierre, because at Owyhee Federal Credit Union, we treat our members like they own the place because, well, they do.
Owyhee Federal Credit Union.
You're listening to Coach's Corner on Central South Dakota's sports leader, KCCR.
You like that? You like that?
As we welcome you back to the Coach's Corner here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com. Joining me is Coach Ken Huckins here of the Pierce swim team as they get rolling here this weekend at home and get a chance to be at home for a swim meet. And Coach, let's kind of talk about that right away because, you know, a lot of times in sports you get home games and you're on the road and you see one team here, you see another team there, but swimming is not like that. You kind of get those invites. So to be at home is a special time to be at home because you don't have that very often. You're traveling a lot. How fun is it when you get a home meet, especially right at the beginning of the season like this is?
It's fantastic to be at home and swim here. It gives the community a chance to see our athletes, but I think also that we have an excellent facility. But you're right, it is a different sport, and our majority of the time we're on the road. We only have generally two home swim meets a season. So it's and our kids always swim fast, even at this early meet, the beginning of the year. It's a great opportunity to kind of kick off our season with some fast early swims, but also kind of gauge where we're at and what we need to focus on in practice over the next couple months.
Well, and the Pierce swim team always has fast swimmers, always has good swimmers up and down from the oldest that you can be to the youngest that you can be. And every year it seems like the swim team grows more and more and gets better and better. What have you seen already from the end of last season to kick off this short course season that you've seen this group and from the top to the bottom how they have improved over the off season?
I think, we finally got a few kids back that had been involved in some other fall sports, running, cross country, and I think we had some volleyball players at middle school age and a couple of tennis athletes as well. But I think, coming off our summer season into now, I think that the kids seem to like the winters a little bit better. It's because we swim 25-yard pools. It's called our short course season. The summer is kind of a really quick season outdoors. We're swimming in a long 50-meter pool, and which up until now we haven't had the opportunity to train in. That'll change come next summer, which is exciting for us. But I seen, from what I've seen so far, the kids coming back, they seem to be a little bit stronger physically. I know a few of my high school boys, especially, and some of the girls as well, have been doing a little bit of weight training and a little bit of cross training outside of the pool. And I'm noticing that there's seems to be already maybe just a little bit better ahead of conditioning where we were, say, a year ago. And I'm seeing kids that are a little more focused at practice as far as paying attention to technique and some of the smaller things that are important to do.
Again, we're talking with Coach Ken Huckins here of the Pierce Swim team as they have their home meet coming up this weekend to pretty much kick off the short course season for this for the Pierce Swim team. And you know there's a lot of kids that are out for swimming, but you get a chance to kind of see them all. You know, you mentioned middle school volleyball and other sports. You have all these coaches that are there just specifically for middle school, just specifically for junior high and for high school. And I know that you have a lot of help, and there's a lot of people that make the swim team go well. But you get a chance to you get to see all these kids and get to see them grow up from when they're little swimming and all the way up to the last year that they possibly can. There's a lot of years that you get to spend with all these kids, which has got to be a lot of fun too.
It's fantastic. You really develop a pretty close connection and relationship with kids when you get to see them and coach them and be around them when they're 6 and 7 years old, and you watch them go through middle school and then up into high school, and you spend 10, 11 years having the opportunity to coach and interact them, which is really different than a lot of other sports. Like you mentioned, you get your high school coaches get kids, for 2-3 years, and with swimming, it's nice. And the other benefit is, we can kind of direct that development all the way from elementary school all the way into high school and see the progression with things. And it's just fantastic to see some of these, when these kids complete goals and accomplish things that they've been, shooting for a couple of years.
So, and you mentioned too the short course season getting underway and the fall season, winter season kicking off. Going into this meet here at home, what do you want to see from this group to put yourself in a good spot moving forward this season?
Generally, this first meet, I want to see. We're still working on building a lot of our conditioning and our base conditioning and things right now. But what I want to see and what I really look for is kids that are racing. I want them to get in and compete. Realize this early in the season they're not likely to go best times necessarily, but I want them swimming hard all the way through the finish. So that's probably a big thing I'm looking for is just that effort throughout the whole weekend.
So this is kind of an unfair question to ask you too, because there's so many names that you can specifically talk about. But maybe give me 5 names here for this Pierce Swim team that you're looking forward to that had a successful season last year. Maybe someone that is really open an eye in practice. And again, I'm going to say give me 5. That way nobody can say anything because I told you only 5. But give me some 5 specific names.
Well, of course, Mason Ward-Zeller. His sister Ella swam a number of years, and I think a lot of people knew about Ella, and they're getting to know who Mason is. Mason's one of the top high school swimmers in South Dakota right now. He's just a junior, but he's I think South Dakota State just contacted him, and he'll be getting more of those calls coming in. He is just coming off cross-country season, but he actually swam at our fun inter-squad meet. He actually went a personal best time in one of his swims that he had just in our practice meet. So, and he's very focused on swimming, and he's got some lofty goals. But I'm excited to see where he goes with things. Charlie Hull is another one, kind of one of the leaders in our high school girls group. And she's just a sophomore. But we lost 9 seniors last year and don't have any this season. So looking for some leadership out of those juniors and sophomores. Sawyer Thompson has impressed me the first month of practice with just the level of effort that he's putting in right now in the pool. Dropped down. We got a couple other kids I'm excited to see. Caleb Hutton's been swimming real well. He's an 8th grader, 14-year-old, but he's been practicing and really kind of stepped things up during his practice time. And then, I dropped down into maybe a little bit of the younger group. I'm excited for some of our 11-12 boys. Finley Elwine, I think, is he's kind of on the cusp. One of these days, he's going to grow and mature, and I think really take off with his swimming career, and going to see some big changes and nice things from him as well. Let's see, I don't know. I think that was probably 4. And then I've got a couple other some girls, Riley Berg and Claire Madsen, who are day in and day out work hard at practice. They help us a ton with some of our brand new and younger swimmers. So I'm excited for them as well, because they get to spend a little bit of time helping our young swimmers in the pool at practice, and then get to watch them at the meet, and it's fun to see how excited the high school kids get about being able to watch these young swimmers coming up.
Again, talking with Coach Huckins here of the Pierce Swim Team, you just mentioned that too. That when we talked about you being able to see all these kids grow up and be able to continue to swim from being real little all the way through high school, it's going to be the same for these young athletes as well that are in high school, and those boys and girls that get a chance to kind of help coach a little bit and help be a role model for these young kids that are just starting and just getting moving and swimming with the Pierce Swim Team. That they've got to enjoy a lot of what they get to see of the future of the Pierce Swim Team. Yeah, they do, and it's it's fun to see. I still get kids that have into college or just graduated college that'll get a hold of me and ask me about so and so, because they remember them when they were 8 years old, and I get a few former swimmers that'll are just kind of shaking their head at Mason. They remember when he was, and he was very good when he was little too, but they remember, watching him swim when he was 8, 9 years old, and then they see some of the times that he's putting up now. So yeah, it's fun, and that's the other thing is you spend so much time around these kids. I have a number of them that I've have stayed connected with, and get back to me, let me know about things that are happening in their life. And got one from Weston Christensen is a name from way back probably 10 years ago, but he is working on trying to qualify for the Olympic Trials Marathon right now. So he's been texting and messaging me about how he's progressing with that. And so it's fun to have that connection that now, but that goes on, and beyond into, so it's one of the great things about this sport and being able to coach here in Pierre, especially. Yeah, because this Pierce Swim Team over years, not just a year, not just a couple years, over plenty of years have been a fantastic organization and fantastic team year in and year out. Coach, real quick before I let you go, I'd like to ask this to everybody that ends up being on Coach's Corner or pregame interviews. What's going to be the biggest reason? What's the biggest key here for the Pierce Swim Team to set themselves up for a good season with how the weekend will go this weekend? I think the key, for me is for each one of the swimmers to have at least one race this weekend that they come away from feeling really positive about, and that's going to excite them and kind of propel them towards wanting to come in and train hard every day. So we talk a lot about, every day is the most important day of the season. Every practice is the most important practice. And I want them to have a race that's, that gets their mindset into that, hey, I felt really good this weekend in that one swim. And I want to get back in the pool and start working on everything else so that I can keep moving forward. So also, real quick before I let you go, what's the times for this weekend when things get rolling, and how the weekend looks? Yeah, we'll get underway. Racing starts Saturday at 11 o'clock Saturday morning. It'll probably go till mid-afternoon, I suppose we'll be done
usually our run's about 4 hours or so. This is a little bit smaller meet than some of them we have, and then Sunday morning we get started with races at 9 a.m. Up at the Aquatic Center, and also want to just shout out to all our parent volunteers that we have and that pull off great meets in and out. We historically, year in and year out, people from out of town love coming here. They love Pierre. They love the community, the way they get treated here, and they just absolutely love our volunteers and how we run swim meets. We put on by far the best meets in the state here. So we've got teams coming in, mostly West River at this one. We've got a few swimmers, about 14 or 15 kids coming from Mitchell, and about 20 or so from Aberdeen. But then we got a bunch coming from the Hills area, Rapid City, Deadwood, Spearfish, Sturgis. So it'll be a fun weekend and a racing, and just, if you've never been to a swim meet, just pop in. If you're at the Y working out, just go over and look down the windows and watch for a little bit.
It's going to be a great... Go ahead.
Yep. It's pretty exciting thing. It's to see all the different ages of kids and athletes racing and different ability levels, and all the parents and grandparents and family hanging around watching.
It's such a great atmosphere for a swim meet, and there's always a lot of cheering going on. A lot. It's a loud environment too, because there's a lot of fun that's being had at all these swim meets as well. And of course, it's no different at the Y at Pierre, and for the Pierre swim team to host such a fun meet and a fun opportunity for the Pierre swim team to get things rolling here for the short course season. Coach, I appreciate the time. It's good talking with you. Let's do this again a couple more times here over this over Coach's Corner. We finish up in February, so let's do this a couple more times. And it's always fun to talk about these swimmers and how good the swim team is. So good luck this weekend. And we'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
That is head coach Ken Huckins of the Pierre Swim team, as we'll return with more Coaches Corner after this here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com. kccrradio.com.
It takes hard work to reach goals. It's a truth that applies to more than just sports. It also goes for your financial goals. You work hard for your money. You deserve an investment strategy that lines up with your game plan. Your local Edward Jones financial advisor can help. If your investments aren't getting you closer to the win, visit edwardjones.com or stop by your local Pierre area Edward Jones office for a financial review. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Why am I so sore? There are everyday moments.
Hey, hold the ladder!
Yeah, that hurt. And there are epic moments.
Slide! College! Class of 1995!
When a moment creates a health need, visit the experts at Avera Orthopedics. We're moving health forward so you can tell the story. Learn more at avera.org/orthopedics.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Now I'm playing for real.
Yeah, you're doing pretty good. What play should I call now? Maybe corner three.
He's hot. He is hot. Keep feeding that guy.
Now back to Coach's Corner with KCCR award-winning sports director John Winkler.
Back here in the KCCR studios one more time here on this Wednesday evening. Another edition of Coach's Corner wraps up. We want to thank our coaches and Coach Steve Steele of the Pierre Governor football team, Coach Brielle Boley of the Stanley Buttes Chargers volleyball team, Coach TJ Dragasa of the Stanley County Lady Buffalo volleyball team, and Coach Kent Huckins of the Pierre swim team. And tomorrow night you can catch Stanley Buttes coverage of volleyball on Country 95.3. DT will have the call 7 o'clock first serve up in Selby as the Chargers will take on Harriet Selby area. Then also on Friday we'll have coverage of Pierre Governor football with coverage at 5:30 and kickoff at 6 o'clock. DT will also have coverage of the Phillip game on Country 95.3 on Friday. That's a 7 o'clock Central Time kickoff as they take on the Dubrick area Dolphins. That's all coming up this weekend on local sports. We've got plenty of national sports in the NFL on Thursday, some college football on Saturday, and potentially the World Series Game 6 and 7, as long as Arizona does win tonight, which will get you out to that game in just a moment. They are scheduled for first pitch at 7:03. We'll have that for you here on KCCR. Again, thanks to our coaches here this evening. We'll talk state championship football games next week, as well as also state tournament volleyball games, SODAC 16 volleyball games all next week here on Coach's Corner. Going to be a fun show next week, Wednesday, as it is every Wednesday here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com. That wraps up Coach's Corner. We've got the Texas Rangers, Arizona Diamondbacks, Game 5 of the World Series coming up next. Have a good rest of the Wednesday.
You've been listening to Coach's Corner on KCCR and online at kccr.com. Coach's Corner is brought to you by Todd's Electric, Shane's Pharmacy, Lamb Motors, Avera, Owyhee Federal Credit Union, Edward Jones Financial, Graham Tire, Kruger Contracting, CHS River Plains, Gales Gas, Bank West, and Capital City Ford, Lincoln, and Toyota. To hear the show again, head to YouTube at KCCR Sports for shows at any time. This has been a special presentation of Riverfront Broadcasting Sports, Central South Dakota's sports leader.